Hi y'all, my name's Cathy. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the young adult librarian at Library 21C. Today I'm going to show you how to make a mermaid or whale tail keychain like this one. You'll need some 3mm macrame cord in the color of your choice. You'll need 3 lengths that are 48 inches long and 1 that is 20 inches. You'll also need a keychain clasp. It should be 1 inch wide at the bottom there. A brush or a comb. Either tape, or if you have a cork board, you can also use some pins. We'll use this to keep the clasp in place on your surface. Some scissors, and optionally some fabric stiffening spray if you want the fringe on the tail here to be held in place when you're done. To start, we'll attach our 3 longer cords to our keychain. So I've got one of my long cords here and I folded it in half so that I have a loop on this end here. And we're going to attach these to the keychain using what's called a Larks head knot. So I'll take this loop and I'll put it through the clasp so that the loop is on one side and my ends are on the other. And then I will take those ends and put them through the loop. And just pull them all the way through. So that I wind up with a knot like this. We'll do that 2 more times with the other 2 long cords. So now we are set up to start here. We have our keychain with our 3 long cords attached with the Larks head knot. Now for the body of the keychain here, it's going to be the same knot over and over called the diagonal double half hitch knot. So we're going to start on the left side here and make 2 knots, and then from the right 3. So first we'll take our leftmost string here and lay it over the top of everything else, and this is called our holding cord. So we're tying our knots onto this cord. Now we'll take cord number 2 and bring it over the top of the holding cord and then underneath again, so through the loop we just made, and then tighten that up, just snugging it all the way up on the holding cord. And then because it is a diagonal double half hitch, we do that same thing again. So over the holding cord and through the loop, and then snug that up. And then we'll do another one. So we'll take this next cord here and do the same thing. So we have now made 2 diagonal double half hitch knots coming from the left, going towards the right. Now we'll start from the right and do 3 towards the left. So we'll take our rightmost cord, and that's our holding cord for this direction. And then our next cord goes over the holding cord and through that loop. And then the second half of the knot. Knot number 2. And then our third knot this direction. Now while you're doing these, you want to make sure that you're tightening up the working cord, the one that you're knotting with, onto the holding cord, the one that lies across here. You don't want to tighten them both together, otherwise you'll wind up with a wonkier final product. You just want to be tightening the one that you're knotting with onto the holding cord. So there is our first row. So we had 2 knots coming from the left and then 3 coming from the right to make this V shape here. And we'll do this again 6 more times, so for a total of 7 rows of our diagonal double half hitch knots. So we have our finished 7 rows of diagonal double half hitch knots here. We're going to do one more row that's similar to those to get to our finishing point here. So first from the left, we'll do one regular diagonal double half hitch. Now we're going to take both the working cord and the holding cord from that knot and use them both as the holding cord for another diagonal double half hitch. So I'm going to move both of these this direction and tie this third cord around both of them. Now we'll do a similar thing on the right side here. So we'll do one regular diagonal double half hitch. And then we'll use both of these as the holding cord to do another diagonal double half hitch. Okay, now we're going to take our smaller cord here, our 20-inch cord, and use it to make a wrapping knot right below where we finished here. So I've got my 20-inch cord. I folded it in half so that I have a loop at one end and the loose ends on the other. And I'm just going to put the loop this way. So the loop is down by our other ends, and then the loose ends up by the top. And then I'll take one of these ends and wrap it around all of the cords on the bottom here, right below those knots we just finished with. And I'm going to just wrap that snugly 4 times. Now that I've wrapped that, I'm going to take my little leftover end here and find that loop. So this is the other end of this same cord. I'm going to put this little stub end through the loop and hold it down with the other ends. And then I'm going to take the end that's sticking out of the top and pull. And that's pulling this loop through the center of the wraps, and it will secure the small end here. You just want to pull that and snug it up so that the loop disappears into the wraps, but you don't want to pull on it too much, because otherwise you'll pull the end all the way out through the top here. Now that I've got that secured, I'll grab my scissors again and just snip the 2 ends of that wrapping knot. Last, we'll do our fringe. So I'll take my scissors here and I'm just going to cut our ends into sort of an inverted V, the shape of a fish tail or a mermaid tail. And I like to start by cutting them longer than I would like them to be when I'm finished. That way I have some wiggle room to trim them up and make them look the way I'd like them to. So now that I've gotten them trimmed into roughly the right shape here, I'll take my comb, and I just have a regular hair comb here. I think they do make combs specifically for use in macrame, like a fringe comb, or you can use, a brush, a pet comb. You could do this with your hands as well. We're basically just unraveling all these strands of cord. So if you don't have a comb or anything like it, then you could just unravel with your hands. It's just going to take you longer. Okay, so now that I've got it all combed out, I'm going to go in with my scissors and fix up the shape a little more here. And how you trim this is up to you. There's lots of different ways that tails are shaped. So whatever looks good for you is a valid option. I think I'm satisfied with the way that looks. Next, I'll just show you a quick video of another version of this I made where I used the fabric stiffening spray, and then at the end you can see the difference between the two. So I want this to keep its form and be stiff. I'm going to use a fabric stiffening spray like this one. So I'll just follow the instructions on the bottle here. And then this has to dry now that I've sprayed it. It'll take at least an hour, so I can check back in after that so you guys can see what it looks like. Our final product. And here's one that I finished with that fabric stiffening spray, so you can see the difference here. Obviously, this one is stiffer. It's flatter. Stands out more to the sides here compared to this one, but I think they both make a pretty good looking mermaid or whale tail. If you try this little craft and you enjoy it, there are a bunch of resources on macrame at the library, like 20 to 30 books just on macrame and similar knot tying crafts. A couple of them will be linked in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.